They hid behind their steel gods, thinking they were untouchable. The Vathari, ancient conquerors of 1,000 star clusters, had long believed that machines were the ultimate protectors, cold, logical, and unstoppable. Their entire civilization was built upon these towering titans, fortress-like mechs as large as cities, armored colossi that could reduce worlds to ash with a flick of their molten fists. The Vathari called them the divine shells, and they prayed to them as living deities. When they first turned their gaze to Earth, they saw only a green-blue marble floating in the void, a primitive backwater that should have bent its knee and offered up its resources and children without a sound. But humanity never knew how to kneel properly. We had always stumbled forward, bloody and stubborn, with songs on our lips even when the fires consumed us. The Vathari sent emissaries, elegant beings of glimmering bone and metal, draped in the shrouds of stars. They offered surrender, salvation beneath their mechanical gods. They promised a place in the archives of subservient species, quiet, contained, obedient. We refused. So they came with their steel gods. When the first Titan descended, the sky above Tokyo split open like a wound. Flames fell, oceans boiled, entire mountains crumbled beneath its feet. The Vathari watched from orbit, certain that within hours, humanity would shatter. But from the rubble, songs rose. Not the measured chants of old Earth religions, but raw, defiant, raucous human songs. Soldiers and civilians alike sang as they fought, as they bled, as they dragged the wounded to shelter. From the burning streets of Rio to the wind-lashed deserts of Mongolia, from drowned coastal cities to hidden mountain enclaves, humans sang in the smoke. We did not have steel gods. We had no cosmic shells or plasma-laced titans. We had crude missiles, outdated tanks, stubborn aircraft patched together with scrap metal and prayers. We had bones that broke and lungs that filled with ash. But we also had each other. When the Vathari titans advanced, entire platoons of human engineers scuttled beneath their feet, planting bombs by hand, their fingers scorched to the bone. Farmers formed militias, wielding repurposed harvest drones and handmade explosives. Children crawled into fallen mechs, learning to tear out the alien nerve cores and repurpose them into wild, glitching war beasts of our own. Above all, we sang, 1,000 languages twisting together in ragged, unstoppable harmony. The Vathari commanders called it madness. They broadcast their condemnation across all frequencies, demanding we bow before their gods of steel. We answered by amplifying our songs even louder, blasting them through hijacked satellite dishes and every scrap of communication left standing. We sang not because we believed we would survive, but because to sing meant we were still human, still alive, still unbroken. Soon, the Vathari steel gods began to hesitate. Their perfect algorithms had never accounted for an enemy that measured victory not in territory or calculations, but in spirit. Their titans wavered, their movements faltered as humans climbed their frames, hacking at joints, planting charges inside their hearts. It was in those moments of hesitation that we struck hardest. Makeshift war bands of engineers and musicians, of artists and old veterans, joined in an unthinkable unity. They crawled through the smoke with guitars strapped beside rifles, flamethrowers strapped beside violins. Every note, every chord, every verse pushed us forward as surely as any bullet. And when the largest Titan, the Vathari's god of final silence, came stomping across Europe, its shadow stretching over entire cities, it expected terror. Instead, it found a choir of 1,000,000 voices echoing from the ruins, each note a dagger to its ancient, code-laced mind. Humans threw themselves against its armored legs, clawing upward, refusing to yield. We sang so loudly that even the Vathari commanders trembled in their crystal fortresses high above. In the end, it was not our bombs that destroyed the Titans. It was the breaking of their faith. The Vathari believed their steel gods were invincible, infallible avatars of universal order. But against the roar of 1,000,000,000 human souls on fire, they cracked. Their algorithms glitched under the weight of our impossible defiance. Their steel gods began to collapse, one by one, toppling into the oceans and forests, torn apart by human hands guided by song and spite. As each fell, humans cheered, wept, and sang even louder. The Vathari's final transmission was a single phrase repeated in 1,000 different dialects. They came singing in the smoke. When at last the Vathari retreated, their once immortal empire crumbling behind them, they left their broken gods scattered across our landscapes, rusting altars to their arrogance. We gathered around those fallen titans, climbing their remains like new mountains. Children played in the hollow skulls of the mechs. Artists painted vast murals across their chests, telling the story of the day humanity turned songs into blades. We did not become them. We did not forge new steel gods of our own to replace the old. Instead, we taught each other that every voice mattered more than any weapon, that every fragile human heartbeat was worth more than any so-called divine shell. The universe would forever remember that day, the day humanity stepped out of the ash and the smoke, not as ghosts or insects, but as roaring fires carried on melody and courage. We did not hide. We did not bow. We came singing, and in that song, we carried our entire world. We are human. We will always come singing in the smoke. And there is no god, steel or otherwise, that can withstand that chorus.